What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel for another awesome live stream. Today, we're going to hop into all things pDIA, talk a little bit about some Pulse altcoins, and get into some really juicy alpha. This is going to be a really special live stream because I got my homie from across the blockchain, Adam from Vibra Finance. What's up, brother? How you doing today?
What's up, brother? Nice to see you again. You're like we talk constantly on the phone, so why not save it all for the stream so the people can hear it?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I swear, I think I talked to you more than my girlfriend. That's how crazy it is. I'm just kidding. Nah, but yeah, man, we talk about so much stuff about what's going on in the crypto markets, what's going on with this pDIA, Pulsechain, whatever. And through these conversations, we get a lot of alpha, and I feel like we're holding out on you guys by not talking about it here on live stream, and we need to do a little bit more. So definitely really great. So overall, how you feeling so far with the markets? We got some red today. What are you thinking?
Yeah, bro. I kind of felt this was coming. Axis was kind of talking about it the other day on your stream that looking like we're about to fall off again, and sure enough, we did. I'm kind of mad at myself for not moving into stables and be able to just buy back the dip. I was gonna do it, and I just got caught up and lazy, and next thing you're doing 80 other things. You're dying, and
Yeah, man, I definitely agree. I mean, just taking a little look at where Bitcoin's at right now. So I've been trying to do this TA analysis so one day we can grow up and be as legendary as Access Alive. But so basically, we had this huge dip down, and this was from Elon Musk apparently selling, and everybody went absolutely ballistic. Now we're back at this consolidation period. I think we hit a low close to right around 25K, a little bit higher than that. Yeah. 25,200. So basically, right now, we're getting this dip down. This is what's been expected with Bitcoin. What are some strategies you're implementing right now that there's blood in the streets?
like just right now, you got to be a savage. It's really hard, and this is the times where you're buying, and it's like, damn, I'm buying right now, and I know probably next week it's going to be worth less, but you have to just accept that, and it is what it is. Don't Now is the worst time to sell. This is what the markets, they are meant to do to you, to get you to dump right here and then buy back in a month, 2 months, whatever that time is, because this is a long-term game. So my strategies now are just really getting people that are nervous to think long-term, not get, caught up in the day-to-day things, and just zoom out when you're in doubt.
Absolutely. Great point. Yeah. This is definitely speaking of, being a savage, just taking a look at crypto bubbles before we get into the main meat and the cheese. Everybody wants to talk about pDIA because I know everyone on here wants to get into the pDIA stuff. So we'll get there. But we need to talk about some of these crypto bubbles. There's a lot of red. So we got Pulse at 7%. Looks like we dipped down to, was it 4 zeros and a 3? Omi, the homie, big NFT trading platform. It's actually looking pretty good. Looks like we had a bottom there. And then what other ones? There's another one that popped off. Oh, yeah. And then Flare, interoperability, trying to get into the interoperability space. So now that the markets are in the red, what coins are you targeting right now?
Um, I mean, honestly, I'm scooping up just random stuff all across the board. So I got a couple different portfolios. One is in my iTrust Capital account, which is a crypto IRA. It's an awesome platform. They're going public on Link 2, so I feel really confident that they're going to be around for a long time. So my retirement doesn't go up in flames. So just keeping like that a long-term portfolio separate from the DGen, the pDIA, the Atropa stuff. I really think it's important that if you only have a couple bucks, like you got to only focus on one or two coins. And it's really hard to be buying like Ethereum or, just a major, just a top 100 coin and then buy Atropa or pDIA. You really got to have all your bags packed in the blue chips, I would say. But stuff that I really like. I like Flare a lot right now. I'm getting the drops every month if you delegate on Bitfrost wallet, on Atomic wallet. I know they've had some issues with hacks on Android mobile, but in Bitfrost Wallet, they still have 30 monthly drops left. So you delegate your coins and it qualifies you every month, get those drops. So that there's 30 more of those of free airdrops. So I'm taking full advantage of that. I really like Casper. 11% staking right now through my ledger. Don't have to touch it. And it just makes crypto easy for you. That's what I like to do, is find stuff that has high staking, not bad inflation, which Flare, the inflation, I really ignore that because I'm getting my drop every single month. It's building my bag. So I want to think long term. Bitcoin in day one, in 2009, how many of those people that got in back then held their bags and didn't sell out? So I'm trying to stack bags now. So if they take off and when they take off, they're never going to come back to these price points we're at now. I remember buying ETH when I first started that iTrust account at $80 a piece. And now, when it was down to $900, you don't even need to sell because you're up so much in profit.
Right. Yeah. No, those are some great points. Get some of the blue chips. And honestly, this is like the Black Friday late in the summer. This is the opportunity to get in. So if you wanted to get into Pulse, now it's time to get a Pulse. If you want to get into Ethereum, cover the basis. And then if you set up this foundation, depending on how pDIA, Atropa, and all these other degen plays we talk about, you still have something to benefit off of when you get into the next bull market. Now, moving on, looking at top 100. Nothing big, everything. There's a whole lot of blood in the streets. So, and then Bone is coming back after the whole Shiba debacle. Now, we got to talk about something really big. So we'll get to the pDIA stuff because I see some comments here. We got Sebastian. pDIA will flip before PLS. The pegging is here. $1 pDIA incoming for the ones that I know. So that's actually pretty funny. Everyone thinks pDIA is going to flip Pulse, so I like that. Shout out to Frenchie. Always great to have you on stream. I don't know how to pronounce that, Beethoven. But hey, thanks for being on the stream. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. I don't even know what that means, but okay, I'll just keep it moving. So, Sir Cernones, pDIA is going to $1 soon. I hope so. If that happens, man, a lot of people are going to be happy. Atropa going direct sellers as always. Well, Atropa has to be successful in order for pDIA to be successful. So, I mean, I get that it's a high risk play. I mean, pDIA is always going to be the safest one, but I wouldn't like bet my whole bag on it. What do you think about Atropa?
Yeah, I got a little bit of it. I don't have mine, like $100 or so, and then I threw like $100 at down and maybe 50 at legal. And I'm just gonna let it sit, and I got more of it in pDIA because I think if it goes up near a cent, that's where I'll be looking to scale out a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah, good stuff. And then we got John May. What's up, John? How you doing? And then the homie, the legend, Damien, what's up, brother? It's always good to see you, man. Dude, Damien comes to every live stream. I love this guy, man. He's got the Zen Alpha. He's on the pDIA. He's on the Pulsechain. Like, I literally want to get a shirt that says Damien's in the chat. Really great guy.
There you go.
And as always, hit the like button, you peasants. Cool. Shout out to Jeremy. Good to see you, brother. And then, as always, good to see John. All right, so let's get into the main stuff that we're talking about. So as you guys know, we've been on a pDIA tear right now. That's all we've been talking about. pDIA. And right when I was about to, get Adam on, maybe talk about Zen or something, we got a really big piece of news that's very difficult to overlook. So Richard Heart put out a tweet, and I'm going to pull up right here. He basically put out this tweet saying that there's a AI where you can go in and paste stuff about from his Twitter account, get information, the whole 9 yards. It's called Claudia.ai, and it's run through Bing, which stands for because it's not Google. And so everyone clicked on Claudia.ai and just started typing things in. Now, one of the big pDIA members in the pDIA community goes by the name of Zach. Shout out to Zach. He has his own coin called Pulsechain Reflections. Really cool. Check it out. We might cover it at the end. He goes in and he says, what's the relationship between pDIA and Atropa and Pulsechain? And right when he does that, this thing spits out a huge amount of information, starting with pDIA, pegged to the Ethereum DAI stablecoin. Atropa is a DEX. Atropa DAO has a treasury, and just a whole caboodle. So we're gonna go through all of this. But Adam, what are your first thoughts when you saw this tweet?
I don't. I just I'm kind of skeptical of the AI stuff right now. I feel like it can be, depending on what information is fed, it could be a little bit biased. Because I was testing around Jax, and I just kept getting, um, I do not have enough information. There's not enough information. So if that's actually what comes out and it's real, that's exciting. And could you imagine if there's a new wave of crypto, new technologies that, I mean, I know now, no, I don't know, but I see what the XRP ledger, with what they're trying to do with their decentralized liquidity pools, with interoperability. And like, that's the future. So DeFi, that's where it's going. I feel like Richard is one of the smartest people. He's been in this space since day one. I feel like he's, if this is him, we are in great hands. And if it's not him, I would imagine that it's somebody that knows the developers he works with, and I just feel like there would have been a warning or something by now if it
Right.
was going to be a bad thing for the ecosystem.
Right. So yeah. No, great points. Great points on a first analysis. So before we jump in and just dive into these points, so actually I downloaded the account over here. It's got my email, my phone number. I guess it's tracking data on me, whatever. So basically, if I come down here and I did a few of these messages, I'm gonna do it on live stream just so you guys can see and know I'm not capping or whatever. So if you type in what's the relationship between pDIA and a triple on Pulsechain, I just copy that and I'm gonna put it right here in the message. Same exact thing. Hold on, let me change this so you guys can see it. At the bottom, you can see it right down here, and I put it in here. The first thing, that's gonna pop up. Wait, hold on. Wait, I need to get the okay, so it's typing it right now. All right. So basically the point I was trying to get across is if you put in the same phrase with the pDIA at the front of it, it's basically going to give you this first command. Actually now it's coming out the same. Never mind. So when I first did it, it said, unfortunately, I don't have enough context to determine the relationship between pDIA and Tropo and Pulsechain, yada yada yada. And then I come in here and said, what's the relationship between DAI and Atropa and Pulsechain? It gives me the same amount of text, right? So I put that in there. Now, when I was doing this example, I was putting in this question right here. And right when I typed it in, it actually went back to the original one, which is absolutely crazy and it blew my mind. And it looks like some of it was changed a little bit. But whoever put this in the chat GBT, I mean, the Bing in the Claude GPT, it's reading the information. It works. I'm doing it right now. You can go check it out in the tweet if you want to do that. Now, getting to the next phase, I want to get into some of these points that it's talking about. So, the first one is saying DAI is a popular decentralized stablecoin that aims to maintain a one-to-one peg to the US dollar. It was originally created on the Ethereum blockchain. We all know that. I mean, that's basic. It shares the same code, functionality, yada yada, Pulsechain, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think you broke up there for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hear me
you broke up for at the first part there. If you want to just repeat.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, so it's basically, it goes in and says Pulsechain is a new fork for Ethereum, and basically it's the same technology, different name, but a little bit better for that second part. Now the next one, Atropa is likely a decentralized finance application built on the Pulsechain that utilizes DAI in some way. Now, I'll give you my theory and then I want to hear Adam's theory. But what I think this thing is saying is somebody in the background is developing a piece of software, maybe like a front end, putting some information out, being prepared to release to the public to talk about what really a Tropa is. It probably is a DeFi protocol if it's trying to stabilize the the DAI token on the Pulse chain. Adam, what do you think this thing is saying for this one-line sentence?
Uh, exactly what you said, that somewhere something is being built right now in the background, whether it's completed, whether it's still needs work. I don't know, but I wonder if it has to do with V3 of PulseX.
Yeah. Well, and to kind of just top on that before getting to the next points. It is so crazy because this thing was just reading information. I don't know if it was from the tweets. I don't know if someone's developing or whatnot. But the fact that we have an AI bot that was tweeted out by Richard Hart already giving us information of what Atropa is, and we can kind of point fingers and say, hey, Atropa is doing something on the pulse chain. We don't know. That is absolutely crazy. And here's something else, a little spicing up the little theory. I forgot to cover this on past live streams, and I just came across it, and this will be the one of the last pieces of information. If you come over here, it turns out this tweet by Tech Dude, and if you go on to the test on Pulse Chain, it turns out Atropa was already among us, and you can go and look at when Atropa was launched on testnet. I believe it was right around September 28th, 2021. September 28th of
Oh,
2021.
what was that tweet? Is that old?
It was on the 13th. It was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, I
13th.
never saw that.
So on September 28th of 2021, Atropa was already on testnet and was just sitting there ready for the Pulse Chain mainnet launch on May 13th of this year. So coming back here, we're getting this weird. I'm bringing it up over here because we can see it. Actually, let me put our heads at the bottom just so it's easier to see. So we're getting this weird crossover where we got Atropa's already been there. Richard Hart tweets out something about a chatbot called Claudia.ai. And then now it's bringing up saying that Atropa is a DeFi protocol. And we're starting to see DAI come to peg. Do you think it's a coincidence, or do you think there's something here we're missing, man?
I just hope Jack Levin isn't the missing link.
Jack Levin's the insider.
My gut, I just for some reason I just have a feeling this is why tinfoil hat on that Jack and Richard talk. And when I saw the stuff on the testnet, when the transactions on Pulse Chain's testnet were a complete flat line, and then we looked at the Zen testnet, it was on the same day transactions spiked on both networks out of the blue. So there's so many coincidences that I wonder if they do talk behind the scenes. And I'm just joking with Jack, and I don't think he's involved in this at all. But I think you're onto something here. I don't think it's coincidence that the AI that he just put out, what was that, 3 days ago?
I think it was
that tweet out.
Yeah, it must have been, gosh, about 2 days ago. Literally 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days ago. So I don't know. I'm curious that with this Claude, I don't know how the data gets fed to it. Like, is it learning off of what it's seeing on Twitter and social media, or is it learning on the back end?
All right, so I'm going to break this down. I want everyone to listen to me because this is a very big piece of information to understand how Google and the internet works. And this gets into my job as an engineer. Google, Amazon, all these databases and software, it's a collection of your ideas, your movements, all the stuff you do on your smartphone, and all the stuff you do on your website. Now, what they mainly do is they sell data to other companies so that they can figure out what products do you want, what type of shampoo you like to use. I order a lot of protein powder. There's a time lock mechanism saying that, okay, Kris is going to run out of protein powder this day, but start recommending on his phone. So basically, Google's like this massive AI system on top of all the other companies that sit there, create a storage, a huge database of information, and the thing just starts pulling it out when you ask it questions for these chatbots. Now, the goal of AI is to build a future where we can take intensive labor jobs and basically make it so that robots can do it, and make it so that complex tasks become so much easier. Nowadays, in the engineering field, one engineer can perform the task of 15 engineers 30 years ago. That's how far along we came with this technology. So essentially, what this chatbot is doing is going through the internet, it's pulling information from all over the place, and it's sending it to you to one place. And essentially, it's searching through Bing. So that's where it's coming from. So it's saying that there's something about this Atropa DeFi protocol, if it exists, that Bing is finding and sending to us through this chatbot conversation. That's what's crazy about it. Or maybe it's pulling it from a tweet that someone put out, or maybe it's coming from something else. There's a lot of speculation, but for some reason the chatbot is bringing that in. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's interesting. I just wonder if it can decipher. Actually, there's no way it could. Whether somebody's tweet that they put up and it's just conspiracy, or it's a fact, or it's something that, a hope of theirs. pDIA to $1. pDIA is going to go to $1 because it will be backed by Pulsechain. Whatever. I just am. I'm curious of that, but I don't. I took with Richard Heart putting it out 3 days ago after the Atropa stuff really got big. That to me is a lot more interesting, because I feel like that if this thing does that, it searches social medias. pDIA has been going so viral that it's going to pick up a lot of that and maybe assume stuff to be fact that isn't. That's the only thing I'd be skeptical of. But my tinfoil hat is going crazy right now.
It's going crazy.
Yeah. It's cooling off right now.
Yeah, I got you, brother. I got you. All right. Well, let's read through some of these. Then we got a boatload of comments I want to go through. But so the next one is pDIA is likely a version of DAI that now exists on Pulsechain after being pulled over to Ethereum. pDIA would function similar to regular DAI, but on the Pulsechain network. You know, the funny thing about it was Sami was fudding this, and the chatbot literally tells you that pDIA is going to be similar function on the Pulsechain. I thought that was funny when I saw that. It tells you, and all the maxis were attacking, saying, "Oh, it can't work. The Oracle doesn't work." Yada yada. It even says right here, everyone figured it out, but you get it. So on Pulsechain, Atropa is likely using pDIA in its application as a stable currency or store of value. This allows Atropa's users to benefit from the price stability and decentralized nature of DAI while interacting with Atropa specific DeFi services on Pulsechain. That's pretty cool. So I feel like Atropa might have something to do with lending, dexes, and I'm gonna go through this bottom chat box because there's actually a lot of information here that just got pulled up again, and it kind of put me on the spot here. But do you foresee this Atropa protocol offering something else besides trying to bring DAI to peg? What do you think? Tinfoil hat on. Do you think it's going to be like an AI system? Do you think it's going to be a loan leverage protocol? What's going through your mind?
I'm thinking it's going to be like more of like, I don't think AI. I think more of like loans, leverage, and privacy, and being able to, with what Blockbend is doing there, be able to spend our crypto on cards anonymously. Like, that's a big problem right now. And if that is what's being built here, I feel like you would have to do that privately, or you would get attacked viciously. So what a way to do this stealthily behind the scenes. And I'm starting to become more convinced that even if it doesn't reach peg at $1, this is going to lead to a revolution or a renaissance on Pulsechain.
Absolutely. It might not reach $1, but it's definitely going to reach $420.69. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's the peg. That's the true peg. I'm just kidding. All right, real quick. Jonathan, what's up, brother? Hey, shout out to my boy Zach, dude. Always got the alpha, put in the work for pDIA. Has an awesome token. If I don't cover on this live stream, Zach, I'm gonna cover on the next one. You got some good work going on. Sebastian, to the moon, definitely agree. Shout out Bobby. What's up, brother? It's been a minute. Great to see you, man. Awesome. So another comment from Bobby. Slow down. We're a long way from peg, but the journey of 1,000 miles has begun. That's actually a really great point. I will give you props on that one. So, cool. Ryan Torres, Jack Levin is a genius mastermind. I think he's a lizard alien, but I do agree he is a smart guy. So,
Yeah.
all right. Let's check this out. Adam, you're gonna like this. Damon's got something. My tinfoil hat is it's possible that Jack has something to do with pDIA Tropa. Wouldn't it be the first time he used the hex community for an objective PLS die would need someone who is tapped? That's a good point. I mean, you know, he did really come into, you know, the hex community and really pull people out. I mean, we were even talking about Zen at one point. I mean, we always talk about Zen, but he did target the hex community extremely what's the word I'm looking for?
He targeted it precisely, and
That's it.
he wanted, I don't know if he wanted to divide the community, but his forced evolution strategy certainly did that. And yeah, it's a tough one for me because I see the value in the Zen FTs and people that, you know, that I know that can't afford to miss out on minting a Zen FT for 25,000 pulse, and that'd be worth, you know, 400,000 in a year from now. So being able to 15x potentially on your Zen FTs, you know, that's a lot of pulse chain people can be making. So I've been trying really hard to show people minting them the process, how easy it is, and just forget about it. You don't have to support Jack. You don't have to go crazy. Just mint them for yourself and, you know, move on.
Absolutely. Great point. Okay, let's get this one. And with the ecosystem, him being behind this was huge profits, which could bootstrap X1. Either way, I'd prefer it being Jack behind pDIA versus SBS with Carolina up to their shenanigans. I like that. Yeah, you know, here's the thing. X1 is going to have some interoperability component, and if you're in the Pulsechain ecosystem, you need to be paying attention to X1, L1X, and Layer 0. I scream it at the top of the building, or whatever the acronym, whatever the analogy is. These are going to be protocols that are going to take this entire cryptocurrency space by storm. And X1 is going to be interacting with Pulsechain, same with Layer 0. And so maybe Jack might be behind this. This trading bot is something we never seen before. And the fact that there's ecosystem tokens trying to stabilize the peg in a decentralized manner, that is something we have yet to see. And so this is like a 1% phenomenon. This is like seeing lunar eclipse every 1,000 years or whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
And like what like 8D chess that would be if Richard and Jack were actually buddies. And with everything going on right now, what better of a person with but I guess they have different principles, that Jack and Richard. So I don't think Richard would want Jack to be the one behind this, but if they were friends already, I mean, there's so many things you could throw out there. But my gut tells me they're not working together. They might be friends, they might talk, but that's probably it.
well, let's also, and we need to get back to this, but let's also remember one thing. So Richard tweeted about an AI chatbot, right? There might be a chance that he might get into the future. That makes sense. Jack over here has created the Zen GPT chatbot. So one thing I also saw was you got Jack focusing on this chatbot. A lot of people in the Zen community go after this and say, "Why are you focusing on this? Focus on X1." But he already has developers working on that. And then we got Richard tweeting this back. Was it a shots fired across the aisle? Was this an indicator that maybe Richard wants to get into AI? Like, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think Richard has a few other tricks up his sleeve after this pDIA pegging scenario comes out? Like, what do you think about the whole chatbot in Pulsechain?
I just think Richard, he's been around the space since 2009. He's
Mm-hmm.
seen everything that's come and gone, everything that's failed, and I think one of his best skills is being able to see where things are going, to read humans and predict what they're going to do. So I feel like if there's anyone in the space, Richard is talking to them. He's seeing what everyone else is doing. And I can't imagine he's not going to do what he has to do to maintain, whether that is adding AI or not. It's going to be something that has to be done. And it's potentially a scenario where Richard doesn't really come back publicly and he kind of stays hidden behind the scenes and starts becoming like cryptic Richard and doing tweets that have messages hid in them, or I don't know. I'm just wildly speculating, but
Yeah, no. I mean that's what we've been doing the past couple weeks, man. Mass amounts of speculation. So that's the fun part about the whole pDIA thing. That's why I absolutely love this stuff, man. This is cool. But yeah, very great points. Now let's move on to this next part. So first one, Atropa could be a decentralized exchange that allows trading of pDIA pairs. This would allow users to trade pDIA for other Pulsechain assets in a decentralized manner through Atropa's platform. Now, this one threw me off because I saw this in Zach's tweet over here, but this is like the continuation of it. PulseX is the main DEX. I don't see Richard launching anything on the side. I see PulseX improving. Now, this is suggesting that Tropa might be a DEX. Maybe they're referring to PulseX, or maybe Atropa is the name of a new DEX launching onto Pulsechain if Richard Heart turns out not to be behind that. Which one do you think it is?
that the latter there. I mean, there's going to be probably how many are out right now? There's 3, 4, 9-inch. And so I would imagine another 1 or 2 isn't really going to do anything for the ecosystem. And that's the second part. I think that if a DEX is needed for this project to succeed, you need a DEX native to it. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be an indicator that hey, there's an outside party called Atropa trying to do this. So that was something interesting I got from it. But it could mean multiple things. Now, next one. This one got me pretty excited. Atropa could be a lending borrowing platform that uses pDIA for loans. Borrowers would take loans in pDIA using the crypto assets as collateral. This provides them access to a stable currency for borrowing. Now, I got a theory. I want to know your thoughts. Richard Heart, if he's behind this and he's trying to use the PRC20 tokens to build the ultimate ecosystem on Pulsechain, and pDIA is just a start, what do you think about Richard Heart possibly getting involved with Aave? And we already see him getting involved with like the Lido protocol, Lido Finance, setting this up as the main governance protocol. Do you think Richard Heart could possibly open up the Aave code and set up like an Aave leverage trading platform and also access other projects on the Pulsechain to build out a vibrant ecosystem that will mimic the Ethereum? What are your thoughts?
I don't think he would do that with Aave or any other existing project. I think that kind of breaks his rules. But to fork it or launch something with similar code that is rebranded under in his ecosystem, I feel like he would do that first. But what I think, if anything, he would entice those projects over there to come build out natively on Pulsechain and give them good reason to, or what, I think that's the route he would go and then leave it to other parties. I don't ever see him endorsing Aave or anything like that on Pulsechain. He got such flack and such heat for the Pepe pools and the few that he did with the wrap Bitcoin pools that I don't think he would do that to the community and just cause the uproar for no reason. Well, you could just do it behind the scenes.
Right. Well, so I like how you brought that up because that goes into my next question. So Richard does the Aave, the Pepe, the wrap Bitcoin pools on PulseX. Big uproar on Pulsechain. Everybody goes crazy, removes it. Everybody starts celebrating. Do you think this was possibly a test run for what he could have possibly had planned for pDIA if he's involved?
100%, because his community is everything. He does care about his followers, his people. I know that. I could tell. he's not materialistic at all.
Right.
He's cheap as hell from people that I know that have had dinner with him. He has expected other people to pay his bill for him. So he's not just out blowing money. He's cheap as hell. He's frugal as hell. And he's just always a step ahead. He's always a step ahead. I gotta remember that. And
Right.
yeah.
Well, just to add on to what you're saying, I do agree to a certain extent, but also I do firmly believe that what we're starting to see with the lending and the borrowing, I don't do it personally. I don't recommend anybody lending or borrowing. It's just better if you're this early in crypto, you might as well just buy and just hold it and just get some gains. But
Yeah.
just to say that it's needed in crypto, people will always use these ecosystem financial tools, and in my opinion, if he's behind pDIA with a big IF, then it would make sense that he adds some sort of component, whether it's on PulseX or maybe he activates another project software. I think this would be a great investigation if more people could go in and look at some of these PRC20 token copies, see if the contract was accessed, because I guarantee you there's going to be one more coin out there that might have something happen similar to pDIA, except it adds a really great utility to the Pulsechain. That's just my thoughts on the situation. So
Yeah.
cool. Moving on. Atropa could allow pDIA staking to earn yield. Users would provide liquidity of pDIA to Atropa's platform and earn interest on their pDIA. This makes total sense. The more liquidity we have for pDIA, the more stable the token will be. So, I mean, it goes into the pegging theory. Next one, Atropa could use pDIA as the stablecoin for settlements and other transactions or services on its platform. This takes advantage of the pDIA's price stability. And the last one, big question coming your way, Adam. Atropa could integrate pDIA into predictions markets, insurance platforms, synthetic assets platforms, and other DeFi services as a stable asset. Do you think whoever's behind Atropa is trying to bring CFI or TradFi, traditional finance, to the Pulsechain?
That's fine. I was just gonna say right before you started reading that, I was gonna say, the only thing I would push back on is that if this is a centralized entity behind this, we throw all of that shit out the window we just said.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you've been digging up some potential ties on the back ends to traditional finance, but my gut tells me it's not them. I really don't think so. And I have a feeling that if Circle's looking at Pulsechain, if it is one of the 6 blockchains that they said they're adding support for, what coincidence could this be coincidence that the timing of it, that all of this is happening on Pulsechain? Maybe this is some kind of test in the background, centralized test. I mean, I'm sure they all talk in the background. They're all working together. I mean, Circle runs the show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead. I just, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I do agree. I think what really throws me off with the entire situation is this screams CFI slash TradFi like all across the board. It's just the timelines and the fact that Atropa was on testnet very, very early. I went back and I looked at Atropa. They were on testnet before a lot of other tokens, whether it was like Hocus Pocus, Internet Money, some of the biggest projects that were planning on going on to the Pulsechain. Atropa was there before them, and that's what really that's what really confused me, because it does make sense for Circle or another company to come in and say, "Hey, we're getting into the Pulsechain, baby. We're ready to go." But the fact that there's a timeline, the contract was accessed, and it's on testnet, it's got to be either Richard Heart or some sort of runaway developer that was doing it, because that's the only thing that makes sense to make this perfect puzzle piece. Now, the problem with this, we had like over 15 different tokens. We had Atropa down legal. Those make sense. But then we had like Teddy Bear that B-Roots was pushing and all these other ones. And we have no idea what these are. Do you think that's those random tokens like Teddy Bear and I can't remember the names of them on the outside? Do you think these random tokens are hackers trying to get into the Atropa ecosystem? Are they testnet use cases, or do you think they're part of the ecosystem?
Dude, I honestly, I have no idea. I would just blindly speculating. I would. Do we know when they were all? Were there any of them on testnet besides Atropa? Do we know?
I actually do not know. I do not know. I know Tropo was the first one.
So
Um,
if they were all on testnet with Atropa way back in May of 2020, or was it September 2021? If all of them were on there, then I would say there's something really going on here. And none of them were on Ethereum, so they weren't copied over from anywhere. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's the other thing that throws me off of that piece of information is that we have all these tokens out there and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what it is. The down, the legal, the TSFI, and all these other tokens, they make sense, but the ones outside of that don't make sense. And I saw Beard say, "Hey, I'm jumping into teddy bear because I think that's Richard Hart's teddy bear in the live stream." So I thought that was pretty funny. But
Dude, that's hilarious. That's really funny. Yeah.
yeah,
And like
absolutely.
if they're new, if legal's brand new, because we got the legal problems right now.
Right.
Teddy bear is his teddy bear.
Yeah, like if I come over here to
Down.
teddy bear, let's see if it comes up. And
I
please,
think
yeah, and please, proceed with caution because I'm looking at this one and like we see like tokens like this one, it's been down for an absolute minute and now it's like
look at
trading
the 1
sideways.
hour. It's the only coin in the ecosystem, but that looks like it's it's
Yeah. And then die just got we had a little bit of a downside, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go on the 15 minute just so we can see what's cooking. So from that
back
15
over
minute,
7.
what's up?
Back over 7.
Yeah, so our little drop was about 64%. We're back over 7. So, based on this chart and based on that little bit drawdown, what do you think is going to happen to the price of DAI over the course of the next week? Trade sideways, go down a little bit, go up? What are your overall thoughts?
My gut tells me, bro, it's gonna shock everybody, and it's gonna pump up to that next level to a point 001 and make a new floor up there. Or I'm sorry, 0.002 and make a new high and bounce back and sit around 0.011, make a new floor up there. And this thing's gonna keep going. And we're gonna get some more breadcrumbs from Richard through the AI, through Claude. And we're going to be able to play the new Richard Heart 4D Claw AI game.
Yeah,
The
dude.
Richard Heart the cryptic AI Richard game.
Dude, I bet you now everyone's gonna go on that the Claudia AI thing. They're gonna type in so much stuff about pDIA, be like, is Richard Hart's dog named Atropa or just something crazy? So so yeah, no, I agree. Here's the thing. This thing's testing. There's bots trading up and down, up and down, up and down. So this is in the test phase of trying to figure out whether or not this thing can hold peg. You saw it do a little bit of a hump coming up here. So it went up, it humped down, and then kind of came down this way. And the whole time we had it was Atropa absorbing some of that sell volume, and same with the down token. Now, I do agree with your analysis. It's got to trade at 0.001 for a minute. And once it hits that stability, there's going to be something that triggers it to go to the next level to a penny. Some people think it's the wrap staked ETH. Some people think it's the amount of liquidity. Some people think it's the community. Some people think it has to do with the market. What do you think is going to happen to push DAI to the next level, in your opinion, based off of the stuff I just listed?
Um,
Gut feeling.
my gut feeling is that there's going to be more liquidity that just keeps funneling in, and no one's going to know where it's coming from. I mean, no, we'll never know where, but with these privacy bridges. So that's the really cool thing about this technology is that it's for the first time, none of us will ever know. where the money's coming from. We can draw conclusions based on what's happening after the fact, but if we knew who was funding this, I'm sure we would be having completely different conversations right now. So my gut tells me that there's going to just be liquidity that keeps pumping in, and maybe I think more breadcrumbs and potential ties to Richard's developers. The only other thing I could think of was it was somebody that was working with Richard back then in 2021 and got pissed off, was unhappy, and left. And he was under an NDA for a while, and it probably expired, and he's free to do whatever he wants. He saw some ideas where they wanted to go, and who knows? Look around at XRP, what they're doing with their decentralized liquidity pools, their AMM bots, that no impermanent loss. They're doing some really cool things. So that was one thing I thought too. Was it a rogue XRP developer that's just testing out stuff on the Pulse chain? But the more I thought about it, it just didn't add up.
Yeah, no, those are great points. And to add on to what you're saying, Platypus Financials brought up a great point. LP will get thicker. Maybe we need to get the LP between the Atropa dipole much thicker. And maybe because it gets thicker, when Pulse chain starts to run up, that's what's going to drive the peg up. Because I see them kind of laying the roots to this tree right now that's slowly growing out. And now as it grows, the tree is going to grow up, and the tree is an analogy for Pulse chain. Once we start to see more volume come into Pulse chain and start to grow, I think that's what's going to push us up to that peg level. To say that we hit a dollar peg sometime this month or next 2 months, that might seem a little unrealistic. But when we start to see the market uptrend and we hit that $1 peg, when all the eyes are on the Pulse chain, that would be absolutely huge. What do you think will happen to the Pulse chain?
We would be going viral, and the memes of Richard twerking would be front page of every social media platform, every crypto media platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Platypus had another great point. Last time I looked, 2 million coming out of Pulse, but 80 million coming in. I'm not really sure. I need to double check that. That might be true, but we'll double check that in a second. And then Damien, the SEC win will push DAI to the next level. It'll be the stamp of approval. If not, GG. I mean, very good point. With the SEC, if the SEC does win, that will be a huge effect on Pulse chain. But if Richard can drag it out, get some huge community support, and really push back against these crooked lawmakers like Gary Gensler, there's a good chance that it'll be the ultimate marketing tool. Especially if the mainstream media talks about it. It's always good marketing. Anytime someone's talking about you, whether it's on Twitter, on the news, that's good promotion, as I've always said. So cool. Now, looking over. All right. So moving on to the next thing, some other stuff that we need to get into. Let me remove my screen share. So bridge crisis going on over at the Pulse chain. And right now, building off of what Platypus Financials was talking about, there's some concern about, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah. So there's some concern that basically we're having tokens being bridged from Pulse chain to Ethereum back and forth. Now, when I talked to Access Live, one thing that he was really reiterating was we had over 400 million tokens bridged over from the Ethereum blockchain to the Pulse chain, and now we're down to 80 million. Some of those tokens might have lost value, but a lot of those tokens were actually bridged back to Ethereum. In your opinion, do you think we have a problem with liquidity on the Pulse chain bridge?
I think if you're just looking at this right here, and you're looking at the numbers that we had previously, where we were up at like 400 something to start, and where we are now, I would say yes, there's a major problem. But when I look around at the other projects, I kind of compare Pulsechain and PulseX to, I see the same problem over there. I see volume declining across the board. I see prices just declining everywhere, except, the few random coins that are the outliers. Great. But for the most part, everything is depressed. Volumes are down everywhere. And, it's just, this is what happens when traditional finance takes over. We were not going to get these pumps. They're not going to just hand retail money. It's not how it works. They want to extract it from you. So the market will turn around and pump inevitable in the near future when people least expect it to. But I don't think that this is a big problem. I think Richard looks around and sees volume elsewhere, see what's going on around other communities, and it's just par for the course right now. Crypto is just down in the dumps across the board.
Absolutely. I do agree. I do agree with you on that. And something like this was also predicted by B Roots. He did talk about this, and I've seen a lot of other people talk about, hey, there's going to be issues with this bridge. Now, in your opinion, if this becomes an issue in the future, what do you think would be a great solution around the Pulsechain bridge? Do you think we should open up more bridges? Do you think we should add some sort of utility? What's your thoughts?
I just think maybe these privacy bridges. I think that's inevitably the future. And
Right.
I don't know if they're going to look to not allow those in the United States. If they're trying to ban VPNs and ban mixers, I can't imagine that this anonymous crypto card would fly. So
Right.
that's the thing I'm kind of worried about is I hope to God this stuff happens. It comes to fruition because we need it so bad. But just the uphill battle, I feel like it's going to be, unless I'm totally wrong and there's stuff going on behind the scenes we don't know about. And yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, we're gonna get into anonymous bridges. Phenomenal point. I love that, and that's gonna get into our next segment, the live stream. But the one last question I want to ask you before we move on to that. Do you think that Pulsechain needs its own decentralized stablecoin for reasons like this? If this becomes an issue,
Yes. I think we need a decentralized stablecoin just to solidify Pulsechain as the only place in crypto where it's real DeFi. I don't know. I don't think Arbitrum and Optimism are real DeFi. I think with the validators around the world. I mean, I don't know. Richard still technically has the keys or recently burned them or something.
to
Pulsechain.
I don't think I still think he has the keys because there's going to be an Ethereum upgrade, and so we might have to do a soft fork because they're trying to decrease the fees on Ethereum by I think it was like 500% or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
he still has them because he has to do a soft fork. So
Okay. So then, yeah. So that's whatever. That if you can't see if that's not the price you're willing to pay to have real DeFi, then go somewhere else. We don't even want you here. So I think we need that privacy, that decentralized stable coin, just to solidify Pulsechain as the place to go, the real DeFi chain. And yeah,
okay,
critical.
awesome. Now I love how you bring up privacy bridges because I know I've been covering this a lot, but I'm finding more information about Beetroots. For those of you guys who don't know, Beetroot was one of the main projects on Pulsechain that was actually operating a privacy bridge that was pretty close to right after the Pulsechain launch. Nobody really knew about it. Few people covered it. I covered it a month ago. And now, because of the pDIA pegging situation, this project came out on the forefront of what's going on. Now, something interesting is going on now. Beetroot is looking like it's the only privacy bridge that can bridge anything other than ETH-based stuff onto the Pulsechain. So if you want to go from Avalanche, you want to go from Binance Smart Chain, I think they also have a bridge from Phantom. You can actually use this bridge to go from different blockchains straight to the Pulsechain. I have not seen another bridge about that. Adam, your thoughts on Beetroot?
I love it, and they clipped our stream from last week with Rags and put it on their social media page there. So I started following them. I did some research into them, and I actually bought a decent sized bag on Pulsechain. I mean, I wish I had waited until this little dip, but it is what it is. And I bought a bag of it. I'm really, really bullish on it, and it seems like they have some stuff coming in the future that they almost want to spill the beans on, but they can't right now. So I'm excited to see what it is. And, these are the projects that I want to support.
Absolutely. I've been in B-Root for I think about when I covered on live stream, whether it's like a month or 2 months ago, I actually bought it right after. And what's really cool is they have a reflection where 2% basically is redistributed to all the token holders. And then they took 25% of the token supply, put into a dead wallet so that every time the token supply is redistributed, a majority of that's getting sucked up into one wallet. It's called the black hole. So it actually gets hyper deflationary going to the future. I'm not a big fan of tax tokens, but when I saw that, I thought it was so cool. And they've already burned about 27% of the supply. Now, one thing I want to point out, and Adam beat me to it, but Dev. So after they posted our video and we got about 8,000 views, under it says Dev is working on adding the staking. We hope to have some good news soon on something that is in fact more than just staking, something that has not been seen on chain before because it is entirely new. It's taking a bit of time. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts on what this is, and then I want to hear Adam's thoughts. So basically, they're saying that they're adding a new utility. They do stuff with privacy bridges. They do stuff with swaps. They're planning on going on to X1, and they're adding utility to Pulsechain. The question is, what type of staking mechanism are they adding? And what I think B-Root is trying to do is add some sort of privacy bridge liquidity pools where you put your tokens up, you earn yield in some sort of farm token so that those tokens put up there make the bridge extremely liquid, and you won't have to run into issues when it comes to transferring tokens to and from that privacy bridge. That is the only thing I can think of because Jack Levin and the X1 crew is trying to do something like that for VMPX and a lot of other projects through the Libra chain. Adam, what do you think is going on? Do you think it's what I just said with the privacy bridge and liquidity pools, or is there something else here that they have right up their sleeve?
I really I like where you went with that. I think 100% could be that, or just even like hexagons just love staking, right? And I think if they just had privacy staking where you could lock up your coins anonymously and be able to trade that liquidity, but people, didn't know where you were locking your coins up or whatnot, I think that would be really cool. So it's something along those lines, whether it's what you said or just even staking that pays you in Pulse Chain or something, or even in an incentive token. And then what you said with the liquidity pools, have the privacy or some kind of even cross chain, if they had cross chain staking or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And to kind of build off of that, if you guys want to come over to beatroot.world, the website could get improved a little bit. And I hope they improve it going on in the future. But scrolling down, it has all the stuff you need. You come over here to the privacy bridge that's being used to bring those funds over from the Ethereum blockchain to basically add liquidity to Atropa. It goes into what the black hole is, the whole 9 yards. A very cool token, and I like to talk a lot about it, and I think it's gaining traction. So it'd be really cool to see how it works. Now, get into the next segment. I actually want to cover one other project, and I will really like to hear Adam's thoughts on other altcoins. Actually, no. Before we get into that, let's wrap up this whole segment on pDIA. So we got into this AI chatbot. We got into some connection to testnet. There's a lot of stuff being added to the story. And I'm sure in a day or 2 days, we'll be on the phone talking for 2 hours about, oh my gosh, there's this new piece of information. At this point in time, what do you think is going on with pDIA? Is this Richard Heart? Is this another corporation? What's going on in your mind? What do you think about this entire situation as of today?
I think that indirectly tied to him. Like he's indirectly overseeing it, or kind of privately consulting on it, would be my guess. Because with all I mean, I just see he can't comment on any of his Twitter or his tweets anymore. He's really changed the way, just his whole message. So I wonder if the SEC lawsuit has really put a damper on what he could do publicly, or what he can do publicly, and what he will do privately. But my gut tells me that he knows who's doing this, and he is behind the scenes, maybe calling the shots, or there's the shared vision between the two, and he can just sit back and say, I built my baby and these guys are running with it, just like I hoped.
Yeah, no, great point. Awesome. Yeah. And so great point, awesome point. And I would give my take on the situation. Throughout this investigation, I've done about 4 videos and they all did really, really well. I dove into the meat and the cheese. I looked at blockchain records. I even went in and tried to look at coding. The one thing I always find myself is the amount of coincidence in this situation, from the timelines to the tweets to the contract code being accessed to the complex interworkings of how the MakerDAO contract was set up to be transferred over to the Lido DAO to use staked ether to collateralize the DAI token. There's so many things at play here. It feels like someone's either an Einstein genius, a magician, or just plain 60 chess. And this is part of the reason why I'm thinking maybe this is Richard, maybe it is, or whatnot. And the other thing that also really got me was based solely on the fact that hold on, I just lost it. Yeah, so and the other thing that really got me is based solely on the fact that we need a decentralized stablecoin on the Pulsechain. If we get that piece of information and basically add to the Pulsechain will win. It can work by itself. It doesn't need Circle or whatnot. But I also see on the other side that this could be Circle. This could be Layer Zero. This could be another player playing a chess game against Richard Heart. Overall, will we ever find out? We probably will, but not anytime soon. So it's definitely really cool murder mystery to follow. And I'm really excited to continue to cover it. Now, let's get into. Go ahead.
Well, just cut all this. Vote Dapp's comment real here. It was interesting. Claude has access to Atropa's white paper. Just asked to summarize it. Per AI, Atropa is not directly trying to peg pDIA dollar. pDIA already inherits the peg from the original MakerDAO.
Where is it? Where is it?
In the comments.
Is that the bottom?
Yeah. Instead, it seems Atropa is creating its own separate stablecoin with a peg mechanism. Yeah.
So Kai has access to a triple white paper. Just ask to summarize it. Okay, we'll do that right now then. Let's see. So, all right. So, well, all right. Summarize.
Atropa's white paper.
All right. Summarize Atropa white paper. All right, summarize.
Oh,
what's this? Or try this. Yeah, so it's not saying anything. So,
Dapp, did you actually do that and get that answer? What did you put in for that?
Well, I think hold on. Yeah, so I think for this one, we might just have to research and look at it because I think this is going to take a minute to figure out. But I mean, overall, hold on, let me stop screen real quick. So overall, I mean, I think there might be a white paper and there might be something else here. I think that's something we'll probably just need to look into, just cover on the next stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, for sure.
But if that is true and there is a white paper, we need to have a tweet about that because that would be absolutely huge and awesome. So, cool. So let's go through some of these comments real quick. So, John May, we need to have a pDIA meetup in Vegas if it's pegged to $1. Absolutely. That'll be actually sick. I think that'd be the craziest meetup. Torin, shout out to Vibra, baby. That's what's up.
Not touring.
Sebastian, I need pDIA. pDIA is all I need. Hey, I love that. Scrolling down. Only on layer 2s, I thought. Oh, never mind. Cool. So then let's see this. John, Pulsechain is going to be the monumental in our fight for financial freedom from these banks and their CBDCs. So good stuff. Going back from dApps, okay, instead it seems Atropa is creating its own separate stablecoin with a peg mechanism that competes with pDIA as another one stablecoin option on Pulsechain.
I like that though.
Having multiple stablecoin options like pDIA and Atropa's coin could provide more liquidity and stability to the Pulsechain ecosystem. That's actually very interesting. I'm going to look into this. Thanks, Dap. So based on what Dap is saying, he's saying that Atropa is a stable coin, and same with pDIA. Your thoughts on this situation? Do you think that could very well be a possibility? Do you think something's going on here? Do you think Atropa and pDIA working together, or they're against each other? Like, what do you think if this white paper were to be true?
I would say that, I don't know, maybe Atropa would be the stable coin, and then up and down would be the mechanisms that literally, if it went over peg, brought it back down, and then if it fell below, pushed it back up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. So
Why not have two though? I mean, because you almost would maybe need a backup and
yeah,
a second stable coin, but then I think Richard controls what 15 to 20% of the supply on ETH of DAI. So he's a DAI whale. Does he have
yeah,
leverage there? Would he prefer DAI? That's what
yeah.
I would kind of ask myself.
Well, and the other thing is, if this white paper existed, I'm not saying he's wrong. Maybe we haven't found it yet. I would like the group would be blowing up on Twitter, or maybe it's blowing up on Twitter right now. So I think we'll table that for the next live stream. That'd be cool. So
Yeah.
awesome. So we're getting to the last thing. One last thing I want to shout out. This is a really cool project before we wrap this sucker up. Actually, yeah, let's just do that. All right, cool. So let me do a quick screen share. Hold on. Oh, my bad. I'm just pressing buttons at this point. Present, screen share. Why did this change out? Okay. So a really cool project. So this gets into the homie, what was it? Zach. So basically there's this project called Pulsechain Reflections, and it's where holders can earn 2% of a buy or sell transaction on Pulse. Essentially, if you go and you buy the token, part of it's going to be burned, and then part of it actually sends you Pulsechain tokens. It's actually a really cool project. I've been researching it, and Zach has covered a lot of it on his Twitter, and I definitely wanted to just shout out real quick and give you guys the opportunity to check it out, because not enough people are getting the opportunity to get their projects out to people to look at and whatnot. So this is a really cool project. It's very simple, easy to understand, and I think it's been gaining so much traction within the Pulsechain ecosystem. So definitely really cool. Adam, any thoughts on Pulsechain Reflections?
Yeah, no, I actually remember seeing it on Deck Screener a couple times, and just there was so much going on. We were messing around. We already had like our game plan in play, but I will definitely take a look at it for sure. You know,
Yep.
his spaces have been really good. He seems like a really good guy, and I mean, this has been running now for a while. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, really, really cool stuff. Okay, cool. Well,
can you pull up? He put some more comments up here. Yeah.
so the stable coin itself will be called USDA and support high scalability. There are plans to create integrations and partnerships across Pulsechain. Tokenomics: USDA stablecoin with $1 peg, ATO governance token staking and bonding mechanism to incentivize peg stability. Mechanics, collateralization with Pulse and other assets, bonding curves for price stability, Oracle fees for accuracy, dynamic rebasing of supply, seigniorage to fund operations. And then tech stack uses Solidity, React, Python, Docker, and Kubernetes. That's actually interesting. Hey, Dap FOMO, if you could DM me a screenshot of that page over at the verse 369. I'm curious to look at what you're doing. Well, what you typed into the chat box because we couldn't bring you up. But it seems like they're saying mostly it's a stablecoin itself called USDA, and it's the idea of just instituting a decentralized stablecoin to the Pulsechain ecosystem. So
It's just about an
I
algorithmic stablecoin. Yeah, it will use
yeah.
collateralization, arbitrage, incentives, and dynamic rebasing to maintain peg. Atropa will be decentralized with governance handled by ATO token holders.
All right, right here, yeah.
Up to go up 2 comments.
Yeah.
Nope, one more. There you go. Interesting.
So
Really
I guess it's saying Atropa is going to be decentralized with governance. Well, I thought so. I guess you got to own the Atropa token because the Atropa wallet owns a majority of the Lido token. So maybe you own the Atropa token to be part of the ecosystem. This is really interesting. This is really interesting. I think we need to tweet this out and see if we can get some more information about it. But overall, if that's true, that would actually be a game changer. And I think pDIA Twitter is going to go absolutely crazy if they saw this. So, or maybe they have already saw it. But overall, what's your thoughts about this white paper that DAFOMO put in?
I want to find it. I want to see it. I want to see what it says. I want to read it all. That's really interesting. I want to know where it's pulling this information from, because is that out there? Is that on social media? USDA?
Well, I'm not really sure.
The Atropa swap, but I haven't found it.
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure because I haven't done research on it, so I don't know. I mean, so definitely need to look into it. So, but yeah, man. Well, we're sitting at about an hour and 12 minutes, so it's getting about that time. You got anything else to talk about, or?
I mean, dude, it seems like when everything was settled down, there's really no more to really talk about right now. It's like, oh, great, now we got the AI bots to go find this white paper. Like, it just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure there's something going to pop off, and then I have to get on live stream. We'll do another one. But yeah, man. But hey, like I said, man, thank you so much for coming on live stream. That one was awesome. We got into the mean, the cheese, and even at the end of the live stream, we got some more information and some more revelation, possibly, big possibly, behind the Atropa and pDIA mystery. So if you guys want,
that could be breaking news. USDA.
Yeah, USDA, that could be breaking news, but we gotta get on Twitter and check out, see what's going on, and do a little research. But if you guys want to check out Vibra Finance, I got all the socials down below. Sub to them on YouTube, go over to the Twitter, follow them on Twitter, and then they also have a really awesome website. Adam, do you want to have a little last message? Any thoughts or anything you want to say?
If you're not following Vibra Finance, follow us on YouTube. We are so shadow banned. It's crazy. Honestly, we are hard to find. If you just search Vibra Finance, most people we won't even show up, but we are there. Appreciate all the support, everyone that was in the chat. You guys are awesome, and can't wait to do this again, hopefully in a couple days, with some concrete proof that Richard Heart has his pulse on this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's part of the mystery. And I think the mystery is going to continue for a little bit. But like I said, awesome live stream. And if you guys haven't subscribed, go check us out on the verse 369 over at Twitter. We got a lot of stuff we always talk about. We're degens, we ain't maxis. We're basically the outcasts of DeFi, and that's what makes it pretty awesome. So, but like I said, thank you guys, and catch you in the next one.